Hello and welcome to my semi-extreme makeover project. For this project, I chose to do the sensory area. When I joined the classroom as the lead teacher, I had noticed that the sensory table had been sitting in the office unless it was planned to be used for an activity. First and foremost is an area checklist. Creating a checklist for a learning environment is a valuable resource for teachers while they're assessing a child's progress, and it helps them to also gain an understanding about each individual child's sensory preferences, their behaviors, and their developmental needs. The checklist assessment also supports individualized planning. It creates an inclusive environment, leaves space for consistent development, and objective data. The checklist also strengthens communication with families and specialists, helping to create an effective support strategy for each individual child. With this being said, it means that by teachers observing the children in these areas allows them to have valuable information that they are able to share with families and specialists to support the child's growth in these areas. The sensory area in itself includes various developmental skills that the children will be working on during this play. They will continue progressing in sensory processing skills, learning about the five senses. They will continue to progress their fine motor skills, which they will later use during writing and all other sorts of things. They will develop more gross motor skills. They'll develop cognitive skills, and they will develop their language and communication skills with other children or other people in the environment, and they will also learn language skills about the activities that they are using and the materials that they are using, as well as sensory language like it is squishy, it's hard, it's soft, it's fluffy, things like that. The children will also learn social emotional skills as well as self-regulation skills. The pre- and post-assessments are important because it shows where the child was when the process began, and it also allows you to see where the child was at the end of the process. It allows the teachers and the families to view the progression of the child throughout the course of an assessment. The overall of assessments is that they support the measurement, and the growth and the progress of each child. It also informs the instructor of which areas need to be included in the classroom more often, and which ones can progress into larger ages, and so on. It also evaluates the teaching effectiveness. It shows the teachers if their strategies are working or if their strategies need to improve in later projects. It also supports goal setting. At the beginning of each year, teachers and families create goals. Teachers create goals for their classroom, and families create goals for their children. By having pre- and post-assessments, it allows parents and teachers to see where they fall in developmental levels and where they need to show growth or where they would like to see growth. It also provides data for documenting and reporting children's skill levels or their behaviors or so on. It also encourages reflective learning. After I reviewed my pre- and post-assessments, I had noticed that the children's skills had developed from the beginning to the end of my makeover project. Their scores seemed to increase from where they were at the end of last semester than they were at the end of this semester. Lastly, it had encouraged me to do more makeovers in the classroom to see how far their development can go when more areas are being developed. My summer change proposal came from the sensory table only being taken out for planned use of the sensory table, and then turning back into the office when they were done with it. The process I would like to take is to include various materials for the children to use during free play times. I would like to allow access during center play times and encourage them to use this within their development. I also plan to switch the core of the center frequently, every week, something along those lines. The area that children will be working on in their development skills during this center change will be fine motor skills, gross motor skills, cognitive skills, language and communication skills, social emotional skills, and self-regulation skills. Lastly, I'd like to encourage children to participate in the sensory activities during work time and free time. Interaction with families is important to build relationships amongst everybody included in their child's learning and development. I would like to send him flyers expressing the values of the center as well as the encouraging feedback that can support the families to build understanding and for all areas to support each other. It also strengthens connections between school and home. For example, the flyer may encourage parents to do some of these activities at home with their children, and they will come to school and they will also have the opportunity to do those activities at school as well. Interacting with the families also creates a partnership that makes the families feel like they are a part of their child's development and learning. By interacting, it also improves the program, not only by bettering the quality for the children, but also by parents supporting us and maybe donating materials that may become of a benefit to our classroom. The interaction also encourages parental engagement between coming to visit the classroom, coming to open class days, and just interacting with their children while at home, maybe with these activities. Overall, I have found this to be a great way to build relationships with families. However, not many of our families from my center had responded to the flyer that I had sent out. There was one that reached out and provided some information about the interest that his child enjoyed playing with in sensory and some concerns he had about her sensory play. And that has helped us support her needs more in this process. Our curriculum is high scope. There are 5 key aspects to high scope: materials, manipulation, choice, child language and thought, and scaffolding. The approach to the high scope curriculum is that the infantile to high scope curriculum promotes healthy development through active learning routines and responsive caregiving. It uses everyday moments as learning opportunities tailored to each child's needs. This means that teachers are to take all areas of the day as learning opportunities for the child. The assessments for high scope use observation-based child assessments to track the learning through daily play. Teachers help tailor instruction to individual needs. The classroom assessments evaluate the quality of learning environments, guiding improvements through data, coaching, and professional development. Program assessments like the Program Quality Assessment, PQA, support strong teacher-child relationships, family engagement, and high program standards to promote optimal child development. My reflection on this assignment is that I would like to move forward with more changes. The first change that I would make is the block area because it supports key development milestones for the children. I would begin by adding books that relate to math and building concepts and include more open-ended materials to encourage the children to use their imagination and creativity. If I were to do this project again, the things that I would do differently is that I would involve other teachers in the observations to gain multiple perspectives of the children's development. I would also make the makeover more child-led by seeking children's input on the activities and materials that they would like to be included in the center as well. By doing so, this would allow for a deeper alignment with the child-centered learning that it was stated in the high school curriculum. In this assignment, I have learned that small changes in the environment can significantly impact the child's development. I have also observed how significant materials support skills like fine motor skills and how interactions between children of different ages and backgrounds influence learning. Children learn about each other as they're working with each other in play. Overall, it showed me the importance of thoughtful environment design in supporting children's growth and their interest in the learning environment. Here is a documentation of my beginning to end. Here is where the sensory table sat in the office until it was planned to be used. Here is what we turned the sensory table into. We turned it into a full learning center for the children to engage in during free play times. It includes a full sensory table of various opportunities, a cleaning rack for children to clean up messes or spills, stepping stones with various textures, a bin with tweezers and color sorting, cups. There was also a bucket with other cups and shovels that's not pictured, some sand sifters, smocks are included, Play-Doh exploration, sound tubes, other textured boards, some cutting boards, and some cups that they can use however they wish. Overall, I hope that this presentation opened your eyes to the impact of this change as it did mine. Thank you for watching.